Winter is here. Deer season is about halfway over, and so it's time for our first batch of our yearly deer chili, venison chili, and we like to make ours with a little bit of a Texas twist. I hope you stick around so you can see how easy this is and how absolutely amazing it tastes right here on Brisket Medic. Mm. Let's go ahead and get our fire started. Hi-yo! We're going to be cooking everything on propane in our Dutch oven and the cast iron. And not only are we going to be doing some chili, I also absolutely love cornbread that goes with it. And we've got our own little secret added touch. It's not really a secret because I'm telling all you. It's really not that creative either. But instead of butter, we're going to be using tallow for our chili and for our cornbread. And I've started substituting that in the recent years, and I absolutely love it. And it's free. I mean, I have it. So I'm going to take this top off, set it over to the side. We've got our well-seasoned Dutch oven pan here. We're going to get that nice and hot because we're going to start off with searing our meat. This is 2 to 3 pounds of whitetail that I harvested and ground last weekend. We're going to start off with just getting this a nice little brown. Pull that on there. Those last little bits out of there. So as that's starting to brown, I am going to add a teaspoon of this brisket tallow. I keep it in the fridge because it seems to last a little bit longer because I do make a pretty good sized batch. So we're going to add a tablespoon of this. Deer meat is so lean that adding this is going to really help lube everything up. Of course, you also need to have a seasoned skillet, a seasoned cast iron skillet to start in. That helps everything up as well. So we're going to get that going for just a little bit. And while that's browning up, I'm going to take my onion and I'm going to get it diced up because I'm going to throw half of it in there to saute with the meat and then keep the other half to throw in while we're simmering. While we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put the ingredients, the recipe for this chili up right now on the screen for you to take a look at. And feel free to write it down and give it a try, see how you like it. I do like to keep this Tex-Mex theme in everything that I cook because I think the fusion of Texas and Mexican food, I mean, just the cultures of Texas and Mexico make Texas cuisine what it is today. So I absolutely love it. And that's what this and most all my cooks have is a little bit of Tex-Mex to them. So again, this ingredients list is for 1 pound of meat, so you can adjust it to however much you have or however much you want. So we're going to do a rough chop on this onion. Super fast, super easy. We don't want them too big, but we're not going to worry about dicing them up too small either because they are going to shrink down, and I like that texture in my food. So get that all thrown in there. I'm going to get that spun around. This is starting to brown up really nicely. We're going to let this brown and cook down for about 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want to overcook it, but once this chili is fully cooked, the chili meat is fully cooked, the onions will be exactly where you want them. And we'll pick up from there and show you how we continue on with our Texas chili, deer chili, venison chili. So I'm going to put a lid on it, check on it in the next couple of minutes, keep it stirred. It's been about 7 minutes, and we've stirred this a few times, and this meat is cooked down really well. These onions are starting to get kind of translucent, and it looks really good. It already smells amazing, and all it is onions and meat. So to this, what we're going to do is we're going to try to do a little bit of deglazing at the bottom of that Dutch oven. And so you can't have a Texas chili without some sort of a Texas beer. And so we're just going to add one whole beer in there right now, and let that sit for just a minute. One of my favorite things to add to my chili, I know a lot of people use a tomato paste and peeled tomatoes, things like that. I really love just good old rotel, and for this size recipe we're going to be using 2 cans of it. So we're going to go ahead and throw that in there. And to that, we're going to add all of our rubs, all of our spices, and then we'll give this a good stir in. And we're going to let this sit for a little while, and then we'll add, in about 10 minutes, we're going to add the rest of our onions and let this simmer for about a half hour before we finish it up. This already looks and smells absolutely amazing, though. All right, we're going to let that sit, and while we're letting that sit, we're going to get this stuff put to the side and get ready to start on our cornbread. Cornbread is so simple, just like this. I will be cooking it in cast iron, but we'll put that in the oven inside because it's only going to take about, it's only going to take about 20 minutes to cook, and so I don't really want to fire up the smoker or one of the grills just for a 20-minute 400-degree bake. So a very, very simple cornbread recipe. We've got a cup of sugar, 2/3 cup of sugar, a cup of all-purpose flour, a cup of cornmeal, like 3½ teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and then I've got a cup of milk and 1 large egg that I'm going to whip up. And I've got my wet ingredients and dry ingredients separate right now. So I'm whisking this egg, and I'm going to hand stir in all my dry ingredients so they're all mixed up nicely. And then what I like to do is I like to push it out to the edge of the bowl, just so there's kind of a bowl of ingredients, and get that all whisked together. And then we'll add in our tallow once we get this all mixed up. Now, you don't want to mix it so well that it's just absolutely runny. So you want it to be a little bit thick. Kind of like that. And let's see if our tallow has warmed up enough. Not yet. We're going to let that warm up a little bit. And to this, we're going to add some tallow and get that mixed in. It takes quite a bit. Instead of butter, I use tallow. So I'll throw that in there, and then we're going to get it into a greased pan and in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. So let me get that going. I'm going to get the oven preheated. I'm going to get this added to it, and once I get that all put together, we'll come back and we'll throw in the last bit of our chili mix, which is going to be the onions and the tablespoon, excuse me, of minced garlic. So let's get that all together, and I'll see you right back. I was thoughtfully reminded by my beautiful wife that I still need to fix the oven. So I guess we're cooking the cornbread on the Green Mountain Grill's pellet smoker. we're going to give this chili a little stir. Turn it down to where the flame is just barely kissing the bottom of the Dutch oven, or on a low setting if you're doing it on a stove top at home, so that this can simmer for the next 20 to 25 minutes. I'm going to set this lid off to the side because we need to go ahead and get the rest of our onions in and our minced garlic in there. Now you can fresh mince your garlic. It's going to turn out better if you do. I believe that there's no such thing as too much garlic in any dish, but that's just me. So you can add or take away from this as much as you want with whatever you want. Throw the rest of your onion in there. Get it nice and mixed around. Again, turn that flame down pretty low because you're going to be simmering this and letting those flavors meld together for the next 30 minutes or so. Man, this looks so good. It smells so good already. I can't wait to taste this with some fresh beef tallow cornbread here very soon. So let's get the lid put back on it. Put it to bed. I'll get the Green Mountain Grills fired up. Make sure that what I'm going to do when I add the cornbread to the cast iron skillet is you get that skillet nice and hot with some grease in it, so that when you add your batter, it's going to kind of put that shell on the batter, and it's going to keep it from sticking to your cast iron. And if your cast iron's already warm, once you get it into your smoker or your oven, it's not going to take as much energy to heat that thick piece of metal to keep it warm for the cook. So a little pro tip there. So we're going to get that going, get the Green Mountain Grill started up. 400 degrees, 20 minutes. This will be done by then. We're going to get to enjoy some amazing deer chili and tallow cornbread. Got our grill up to temp. Got our pan nice and hot. Throw that in there. Let it smoke just a little bit. We'll be back in 20 minutes. It's been about 20 minutes, and so it's time for us to go ahead and check on our cornbread and see how well done it is. And so all I'm going to do is take a toothpick and stick it in there. If it comes out clean, then it's done. I think she's done. I'm going to get this pulled out and flopped over here onto the table and ready for serving. So the absolute best way that I've found to get cast iron cornbread out of the skillet, and the best test to see if you greased it properly, is to grab it out, take it over to a cutting board or table, countertop, large plate, whatever, and smack this bad boy over. See if it comes out. Oh, one little casualty there, where it got just a hair bit hot, but it smells. Oh, you can smell the sugar. Other than that, look at. I mean, it's nice and clean pan. So cool. Put that over to the side because it is hot. And check this out. Let's just go ahead and put some butter. Let that butter start seeping into that bad boy right here. That's a thick cornbread pie. I like things nice and thick. All right, so we're gonna let that sit in. Let's go ahead and grab us a cup of this delicious chili, bowl of chili. I think that chili should be eaten out of enamel cookware, personally, but whatever. Let's get this opened up. And I've been smelling this chili for a while now. Every time I stir it, so good. I know a lot of people like to add more onions on top, some cheese, or some crema, or some just regular sour cream. Personally, I like it just like this. Maybe with some Fritos, but I like it just like that mostly. And I mean, why wouldn't you? So let's go ahead and get this cornbread cut. Oh, it feels so good. It's just cutting so well right there with my knife. Just the weight of the knife coming down on it. It's so soft and light. I like it. It's perfect. Look at that beautiful cornbread. Man, that looks good. Tastes good too. Wow. Very good. All right, let's go in for a taste test. This stuff was super hot, so I had to let it cool off a little bit. I like a nice coarse grind when I'm doing chili meat, and you see why. Guys, it's so fresh and easy, and it's a very hearty, savory. I mean, if you can have hearty and freshness together at the same time, like this is something you can eat in 70-degree weather or 20-degree weather. It is so freaking good. Now, you can always add more cayenne. We usually do add some jalapeno. You can add little things here and there to spice it up a little bit, but this is an amazing base that you can allow your guests to spice up each and every cup or bowl of their own as they're eating it. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. Take this recipe, feel free to use it. Let me know what tweaks and twists you made to it and how you like to eat your chili. I love you guys. Drink more water, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We love you so much around here. We hope that you have a Merry Christmas coming up. See you later.